Monday, April 22nd, 2024, and it's day 12 of my cross-country motorcycle adventure. The meandering continues. Today's ride covered 210 miles and took me from the rolling hills of iconic horse country to the winding roads of the Appalachian Mountains. In addition to some wonderful riding, today's episode features a SkyLift, a natural bridge, iconic pizza, a long, dark tunnel, a delicious and lucky dinner, a cool retro motel, and of course, some of the local spirits in Bardstown, Kentucky, the Bourbon Capital of the world. Here's how it all came together. My plan, if you could call it that, was to head from Lexington to check out Red River Gorge, and then to ride on to Bardstown. I didn't have any specific roads to ride or things to see and do in mind. I just thought I'd ride around and see where the road took me. But when you're in full riding gear at a hotel breakfast buffet, you meet people. I was chatting with the folks sitting next to me about where I'd been and where I was going. I mentioned Red River Gorge, and that's when Tabitha, who was working the breakfast area, walked by and reminded me to bring water. I asked her if she was familiar with that area because I had heard it was beautiful, but I didn't really have anything specific. Without a moment's hesitation, she sat down and suggested that I ride to Natural Bridge State Park, take the SkyLift to check out the bridge and the scenery. Oh, and I had to have pizza at Miguel's. And finally, I shouldn't miss the Nada Tunnel. Okay, now I have a plan. I'm not the most extroverted person out there, so it takes a little effort for me to jump into conversations with the people I meet. But it's worth it. There's cool things to see just about everywhere you go, and people are always happy to tell you about their favorite things to do and see in their parts of the world. So thank you very much, Tabitha. Your suggestions were great, and I had an absolutely amazing day. The ride down to Natural Bridge State Park was filled with rolling hills and beautiful Kentucky landscapes. I took Highway 1927 to Winchester, and then 15, and finally 11 to the park. Just over an hour of perfect riding weather and barely any traffic. There's a link to a map of today's route in the description. At the park, I hopped on the SkyLift, a slow, scenic chairlift that takes you up the mountain. It's $17 round trip. The SkyLift has been in operation since the 1960s, and it gives you a stunning view of the Daniel Boone National Forest. They say it's one of the best ways to take in the region's dramatic rock formations and sprawling greenery without a long hike. At the top, it's a short and easy walk to the natural bridge itself. The bridge is estimated to be over 1 million years old and formed by weathering and erosion. It stands 65 feet high and spans 78 feet, making it one of the largest natural sandstone arches in the eastern United States. I walked across and through a super tight squeeze to get directly under the arch. Back up, it was another quick walk to the overlook, where I was treated to an incredible view of the full arch I was just standing on. I took the SkyLift down and picked up a couple of stickers at the gift shop to add to my growing collection. Now it was time for lunch. On the way in, I had apparently passed right by Miguel's, but I didn't notice it. So when I left the park, I went right, when I should have gone left. In fact, I went quite a while in the opposite direction. But honestly, it didn't matter. I don't think there really is a wrong way to go around here. Miguel's Pizza is a legendary stop for hikers and climbers in the area. While I was eating, I met Chapo, a friendly four-legged pizza enthusiast who was busy trying to convince all the kids around to share their slices. I think he had a solid strategy. And now with a full stomach, I set out to explore the area for about an hour, taking my time to enjoy the roads. I started at Nada Tunnel, the gateway to Red River Gorge. This one-lane tunnel was originally built in the early 1900s as a railway passage for logging operations. It's only 12 feet wide and 13 feet high, making it a pretty tight squeeze for large vehicles. And driving through it feels like stepping back in time. It's also rumored to be haunted, which just adds a little to the mystique. While the tunnel itself is a straight shot, every road around it is the exact opposite. Winding, twisting curves that are an absolute dream to ride. The gorge is known for its dramatic sandstone cliffs, which are home to some of the best rock climbing in eastern U.S. Around every twist and turn there was something to see: a river, a rock face, or just the dense green forest. The riding here is pure fun. I highly recommend this loop if you're ever in the area. Eventually, it was time to make some miles. I hopped on the mountain parkway back to Lexington, then picked up the bluegrass parkway to Bardstown. It's about a 2-hour ride. And this was not the most thrilling stretch, but there was plenty of beautiful Kentucky bluegrass, open horse farms, and rolling countryside to look at along the way. Bardstown has small-town Kentucky charm, classic buildings, and distilleries. Known as the Bourbon Capital of the world, Bardstown is home to some of the most famous distilleries on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. The town itself has a history dating back to 1780, making it one of the oldest in Kentucky, with beautifully preserved architecture and a strong sense of tradition. I stayed at the Bardstown Motor Lodge, which has a really cool retro 70s vibe. Simple, clean, and stylish. When I'm done riding for the day, I really like to be done. So I walked about a quarter mile into town looking for dinner. And here's the rub. Most of the restaurants are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. And the ones that are open shut their kitchens early. So when I walked into the Old Talbott Inn at 8:03 p.m., the bartender told me the kitchen had just closed at 8. She told me there were some fast food chains a couple miles up the road. But when I told her that I was actually on foot, she asked me what I would want if she was able to get something for me. Anything you could do would be amazing, I replied. A few minutes later, she returned with an absolutely delicious plate of pot roast, potatoes, vegetables, and a homemade biscuit. We had one serving left, she said. Pot roast and Makers is a very satisfying combination. This was honestly one of the best days of riding so far. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot. It was perfect roads, unexpected stops, good food, a little bit of everything: history, nature, and bourbon country. If you've ridden through the Red River Gorge, or have favorite stops along the Bourbon Trail, drop them in the comments. I'll be back, and I'd love to hear about them. And of course, if you're enjoying the ride, hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next ride.